All right, before we open up the regular meeting tonight, we are required to allow public comment on the collective bargaining. So if anybody has any public comment on collective bargaining, like come up to the podium and voice their opinion on that. If not, doesn't look like anybody wants to, so we'll go ahead and close that portion. Also, we need to open up a budget hearing on our 2026 budget. So I need a motion and a second to open up our budget hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the budget hearing. I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Floor is yours.
Okay. I kept what to share today short since we spent a lot of time on Thursday going through the budget. But just for everyone out there, there's four main funds that we pull money from. We have our rainy day fund, and that is a fund that we don't allot money to each year. It's kind of like a savings account. We hope we never have to dip into the rainy day, but if we needed to, we could. There's no ongoing expenses that come out of the rainy day fund. We have our education fund. This is the money that comes from DOE, and that money, the majority of that money is spent on teacher salaries, certified salaries, people who are tied directly back to students. This is where a small portion of it also covers classroom supplies. We also have our operations, which is where our non-certified employees, or those not directly tied to students, where their salaries come out of, our maintenance employees and such. We can also buy buses. I think that's probably more common back in the day when the budget was a little bigger, but we can buy buses out of that, that fund. This is where we pay our utilities and insurance and our cleaning supplies. We also have our debt service, which is like your home mortgage. So this is where we are repaying our the money from our bonds and such. So those are the payments that come out of that each month. So those are the four main funds. And then on the next slide shows you how much was requested the previous year. I'm learning this, but Indiana uses a calendar year of July to June, but a fiscal year of January to December. That I cannot get my brain wrapped around that. So different. So we are actually talking about through December for these numbers, but for 2026, our rainy day would stay the same. As I mentioned, money doesn't really come in and out of that unless we have to dip into it. Our debt service has grown to $2,544,105. And that would be the new bond that was issued and the things that we have spent out of still have two bonds that we are spending out of. Education will be requesting a little less than last year. And when you look at our numbers, the money that you get per pupil, we are down a significant number of students right now. And so that number would be less. Operations actually will increase. The cost of everything has increased. So we will be asking for a little over $3 million for 2026. So our total budget comes to $13,153,079. The next slide is just a list of our debts. We have what you see on this first slide are all of the bonds that we hold and the amount of money that is paid to them. These payments come out twice a year. And I won't speak on each of those. And then the final slide, well, not quite final, but we've shown you on the next slide the amount of money that comes out of like the education budget, how many are paid for teacher salaries, how much is paid towards teacher benefits, teacher aides, and then other stuff that tied directly to students. And then you see the small amount of that money that is used for supplies and professional development. And lastly would be other employees such as central office employees, custodians, and maintenance. That is the operations budget. So that shows you how much of that budget comes out of operations, how much supplies. We have our insurance and our utilities, our bus drivers and their benefits. then we have, because we're half of our bus routes we handle within house, and then we have some contracted rates, or contracted routes. Then our repairs, maintenance, and vehicle and bus repairs. So that is an overall of the budget. That doesn't say a lot, but I figured that was enough for tonight. So.
All right, what's the timeline on, so our next meeting is when we will actually vote to adopt the
Yes.
budget, October I think it's the 13th, I believe. No, not, wouldn't be, that when it is?
Yeah.
So-
It's the Monday before fall break.
Okay. All right, so I need a motion and a second to close the budget hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the budget hearing.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, at this time, we will open up the regular session meeting. I'd like to recognize that we have 2 members absent, but we still have enough for a quorum. If you would, please stand as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you've all had a chance to review the agenda for tonight. I need a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Public comment, I'll go ahead and read this. I do have one for public comment, which will come at the end because it's not on the agenda item. I will go ahead and read our guidelines for public comment. Indiana statute requires public comment to be afforded at all regular session board meetings. The purpose of the public forum is to give members of the public the opportunity to address the school board on any matter regarding education and administration of our schools in this setting. We as board members are not compelled to answer questions or respond to you and typically will not engage in back and forth dialogue in this venue. However, this board and the superintendent will note your contact information for response if appropriate. As always, we invite you to contact any of us by phone or email for follow-up. I ask speakers to adhere to the guidelines printed at the bottom of the speaker form. On this form, be sure that you have indicated whether you are going to speak at a public forum or at a specific agenda item and direct your comments to the chair. You are expected to be respectful in your address to the board. We also ask you use titles and not individual names. Personal attacks against school board members, superintendent, staff, or other employees will not be tolerated. If you fail to follow these guidelines, you will be warned by the chair and subject to removal if violations continue. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Ms. Jones, our timekeeper, will start the timer with your opening remarks. The buzzer will sound when your time has elapsed. When the timer sounds, please draw your comments to a close as quickly as possible. The first section for public comment is for items on the agenda. There is a time near the end of the meeting for general comments. So there's nobody signed up for agenda item comments, so we will move on to the consent agenda, which is review and approval of minutes, review and approval of claim, review and approval of fundraisers. And I did, just to mention some of the fundraisers on the agenda tonight, which is laundry detergent sales for the boys and girls basketball, National Honor Society donation drive, elementary school will be holding a McDonald's family night, the CHS Art Club will have paint and canvas fundraiser, and the wrestling club will be doing donkey basketball. I'm excited about that.
The
So
insurance company know about that? I didn't know they were still doing that.
They stopped for a while. They're wanting to bring it back.
yeah, and also review and approval of field trips. And all the field trips I have tonight were for FFA. And they were, just to give you an example what they are, livestock skill-thon invitational, state livestock skill-thon invitational, a national FFA convention, and area forestry. And I can't even pronounce that word. What's that? into Mullet. Yeah, there we go. I believe you. So, those are on the docket for approval this evening, and also the personnel report, which we've all had a copy of, and the public will be able to access that as probably as early as this evening or tomorrow. So I need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion and then we'll discuss, right?
Mhm.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions?
The only thing I saw, Vicky, in the claims, there's 2 identical claims in there. I didn't know if that was intended. It says System Liquidation Inc. Both are for 17.
Yeah, there were 2 different POs, the same amount.
Same amount. Okay. Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
That's all I had.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. On to old business here. Second reading and approval of policies 2370 through 8510. I need a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion to
policies.
approve the second reading of policies 2370 through 8510.
I'll say.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions on those policies? No questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. New business. Review and approval of out-of-country trip presentation by Ms. Kemper. Want to come up and
Do you need this? Okay.
Okay, ready?
we're ready.
Okay. Here's me. I'm up here again proposing another EF trip since we had so much fun and so much success this past spring break traveling with Mr. Kersey on our Italy trip. So here's what's some stuff at the bottom there that's happening in the future is in February, I'll be trained just as Mr. Kersey was as our group leader and our EF representative. So I'll be going to Portugal for formal training. And then in March, I'll be leading our first tour, and I'm taking 14 of our very own students and parents on our Belize trip, spring break. So those are some fun things happening here soon. So here's the logistics, if you will. A little bit of background about EF, just generic. They have 60 years of experience. They have offices all over the world and are there at our beck and call the entire trip. So basically, they, at any given time, if we need something, if something happens, whether it be medical or a safety concern, they are there 24/7 to attend to anything that we may need. And they're experts in the field. So there's everywhere on that map is a dot where they have an office. And honestly, their peace of mind program, they made us feel super safe the entire time we were there. And I think their safety and all the protocols that they have in place are honestly just unmatched from what I witnessed firsthand on our first trip. So here's some of the more fun stuff, if you will. So here's everything that's included. We have a full-time tour director that's with us the entire time. It includes your round-trip flights, breakfast, dinner, which we have an option to include lunch this time around, which is really cool. So it could basically be all-inclusive. It includes your hotel stays and tickets for individual things that we don't have to book ourselves. They book everything for you, which is really cool, and all of the extra things in between. So aside from the all-inclusive budget price that you'll see later, people are required to get their own passports if they don't have them already. Depending on the airline will depend on whether or not you have baggage fees. Tips are always extra. Your own snacks. I like to pack my own snacks. And of course, if you want to have any kind of rooming upgrade. So this is really cool because the price tag is always scary at first. So what's awesome is that you can break it down into monthly payments, which you'll see here in a minute. But EF just is more than happy to throw money out for multiple things. So they give out scholarships. So for example, last year during our Belize enrollment, we did a drawing and 2 of our students got $500 scholarships taken off their total to go to Belize. So that was really cool. 1 boy and 1 girl won. So that's a pretty big deal. $500 is a lot of money. So I think that's nice. And what's cool is that they do fundraising things. So instead of kids getting Christmas presents that year, they can say, oh, hey, grandma, grandpa, you can just throw me $100 toward my trip instead of giving me a present. So they're very accommodating and lots of options to pay your way. So here's some convincing stats. South Vermilion recently took 80 travelers to Italy, Germany, and Switzerland this past June. Crawfordsville is doing it again. Fountain Central is doing a big one. Ireland and England and Greece in 2026. And Seeger has also committed to EF trips for the next 3 years too. So some of our neighbors. So here's more specifics. So let's go to Japan. So here's our time frame. It is centered around spring break of 2027, which seems ages away, but as you can see on the next slide, when you break it down, oh, it's a couple slides later, but the price, the earlier we book, the more time that families have time to pay. So it seems really ridiculously far away, but when you break it down to monthly payments, it's really doable. Just a few things that we get to do: bullet train tours, there's a sample itinerary, and maybe the next, there it is, yep. So when you break it down and look at it like that, it's way more doable than looking at the smaller number there. That's the grand total. And then on top of the large international trip for 2027, I want to start my short-term goal by integrating a trip that, a smaller trip that we used to do pre-COVID. Mr. Smaltz used to take our 8th grade students to Washington, D.C. And so with his blessing, I would like to start doing smaller domestic trips throughout the year. So here are some things that we can do on this trip that I'm also proposing today. And here's the time frame for this one, which is immediately when school gets out. On a little short notice, but I hope to be a little bit better planned once I become established. And here's the breakdown for that one, which is really similar to the long-term Japan payment plan. And here are some stories. I won't read them to you, but just a little bit of fun that we had on our Italy trip. Our tour director told the kids that they had to do a statue look-alike contest, and they won a prize for that, which was really cool. So they just do everything they can to get the kids involved, and it really is just centered around the kids. And you can read their testimonies, and we really did have fun on that one. So here's my long-term, short-term plan to keep the momentum going, to give the kids a little bit something to look forward to. I do hope to kind of alternate bigger, more expensive trip with a smaller, less expensive trip every other year, or say spring semester, fall semester, to kind of keep the momentum going. So we're kind of just getting started here, maybe a little late to the game, if you will. So I hope to be a little bit better planned and give the families as much time as humanly possible to pay on these trips so that we can make it possible for all of our families here at CHS.
Any idea what kind of numbers we may have?
For enrollment?
Yeah.
We took 27 to Italy.
Okay.
Belize dropped a little bit. Like I said, we only have 14 confirmed going to Belize. But it came up fairly quickly, and I could blame it on that. I could blame it on the destination. Maybe the destination was a bad choice and nobody was as excited about Belize as they were Italy. So I'm hoping that Japan might be a little bit of a spike, hopefully in competition with Italy is what I hope.
Thank you.
So this is just high school students?
Yes.
Okay. But not just upperclassmen, Anybody in high
Oh
school?
yeah, 9 through 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions?
She kind of combined A and B.
Yeah, right. So, for us, we need a motion and a second. We'll do them separately, because they're separate on here, to approve, the trip. So once we approve it, you'll start advertising and
Promoting like crazy.
and getting interest. So, so I need a motion and a second on the approval of the, Japan trip first. And we'll do the Washington DC trip second.
I'll make a motion to approve the Japan trip.
I'll second it.
I have a motion, and a second. Any additional questions on that?
So
I'll go ahead.
all the costs are back on the families and the kids, is how that works.
I kind of just compare it to all inclusive. So you pay X amount of money and it takes care of your money, your stay, your flights. You can add travel insurance with it, which is an option I always do, even when I travel personally. So, and passports and like the luggage stuff is all out of pocket.
But nothing on the school is what you're asking.
Right.
No, yeah, just.
Oh,
it's all-
yes,
it's all-
yes, of
yeah,
course. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, got a motion and a second on the Japan trip. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. I need a motion and a second on the Washington DC, New York trip as well.
I make a motion to approve the Washington DC / New York City trip.
I'll second.
Any questions on that? All right, I have a motion and a second, on the Washington DC, New York trip. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right, moving on here. First reading of policies, 22, 21 through 5771. So we don't need any kind of formal motion tonight. It's just first reading. Be second reading and approval on next month's agenda, which brings us to public comment. I've got Mayor Crane here, signed up for public comment. So
You ready?
I'm ready. You'd like to come up?
Want me to go up there?
Yeah, we would. Thank you. Well, everybody can see your pretty face on the TV
Oh, yeah.
screen there.
I just want to give you a little information. The electric department completed new CT metering yesterday. CT, not Covington Trojans, but that it's just called CT. When they changed the transformer, we bought 2 transformers, and when we put the new transformer in, at a cost of $50,000 each, because we have to have a backup to back it up. Much better transformer, rated higher for the amps that the high school was pulling. The gentleman that helps us, that helps Tyler and Gene, is Dwayne Richardson. He's been a superintendent at Crawfordsville Electric Light and Power. He's taught all of our guys with, he works for the Indiana Municipal Electric Association. He's taught Gene, Mike, all of them. Clint worked well with him when he was here. Mm-hmm. When they replaced the transformer, the next reading on the meters, Linda noticed that the high school was up a lot. I don't know if you noticed that, Becky, if the bills are up. Now, a lot of it was due to the weather and the temperature. But also, when they changed it, they found that one of the donuts on the CT metering on one of the transformers, because there were 3 separate transformers, was on backwards. So they estimated that we might have been losing $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So I'm not here to ask for more or go back any, as some would, but I just wanted to report that to you. If you notice an increase, we put the new metering on yesterday, and it is definitely correct now. But Dwayne noticed it. As near as we can tell, it might have been that way for 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
He said metering never favors the electric company. It always favors the end user. So I just want you to be aware that it could be higher. Linda went back to last July, and this was much hotter anyway.
Mhm.
So, and the elementary school used a lot more too. So there may not be that much difference, but it was one transformer was backwards and wouldn't have been reading correctly.
Okay.
So
Well, appreciate the information.
that's all I had. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can't leave it like that.
I was gonna say, put one of the other ones back.
Yeah. Good. Well, if I paid Gina now, he can turn it around.
I remember now, there's video of this now.
All right, brings us to administrative reports. Vicki, you got anything for us that of significant?
I know.
All right. Has Ross said anything to you about anything as far as wanting to relay any information to us about anything going on or? No.
Nope.
All right. Paul, you got anything you want to add? Everything going? Phones are working and everything's,
Yeah, those are working. I'm still waiting for the contract. So for the phones, remember when I was telling you we were wanting to switch it over? It's a long, lengthy process, getting numbers ported in. So once I get that figure back, we'll know exactly about how much we're gonna save.
right.
He just said it takes a few weeks for him to get that document set up for us.
Okay.
I do have one question going back to Ross's part of it. Painting the elementary school.
So the company has told us that they will be here now the first week in October.
Write that down.
It's on video.
All right.
He promises.
That's what, I mean, I
Okay. all right.
agree that this has been ongoing. Yes.
1st of October, he said.
The first week in October.
Did he give you any kind of any idea what the length of the job is?
No.
It shouldn't be that long.
No.
They're just spraying it.
Right, right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
All right. You got anything you want to add or any information or?
I
no?
mean, I will say the last couple of weeks getting in the rooms, like, I think what is so special about Covington is the people in our buildings. And that has really stood out to me as I'm in the buildings and talking to the teachers and the teacher assistants. And it reminds me what a special place this is. That's all I have.
Good. All right, upcoming dates. I was gonna make sure that I had that date correct for our next meeting. Yeah, October the 13th. So will be our next regular session meeting. And need a motion, a second to move to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Yeah, we're gonna be here a while. I have a motion, a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.